Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Working Man Ron Doyle. Got a little bit different episode for you today. This involves a Christmas present, but also a practical gag gift that you may like it and want to do this for yourself and involving your family. It is a jumbo size 5-gallon mug, and this is a two-hander. For holding this 2-gallon bucket consisting of 2 gallons of liquid, 5-gallon on the outside, you're going to need pretty strong grips to hold on to that thing. It's basically a thermally insulated 5-gallon bucket with a 2-gallon bucket on the inside. We've got a piece of 3/4 inch shark bite PEX tubing, and it measures at 13 inches long. It consists of a 2-gallon lead, a 2-gallon bucket, a 5-gallon lead with a hole cut in it, grid frame for the bottom. You got to pull off the handles because the handles are no longer any good, making a mug out of this and not a bucket anymore. But basically this whole thing comes apart. Take the lid off. It's just the standard 2-gallon lid with a hole in it. The hole is 1 inch to accommodate the straw. Pop the lid off of it. Now the lid is snapped over tight over top of the lip of the 2-gallon bucket that's on the inside. It all comes apart, as you can see. The inside, you can see the grid framing is on the inside. After you get done with the practical joke and the gift of giving this Christmas season, you could use this as a watering bucket for your dog. Fill the bottom up with sand, play sand to the grid line, put the bucket in the top, and snap the lid back on. This bucket has hidden storage. Obviously you see at the base. You can actually put the straw in the bucket so it doesn't get lost if you want to continue to use it as a gag gift. Push the bucket down so it hits the bottom of the grid. Snap the lid back on. It's awful tight because it's brand new. Snap this lid on, and you're ready to go out and party, have a good time, and get some laughs doing it. The backstory on this whole thing, if you all are curious, I'm in a large group of people, and we go out and do karaoke events. We do trivia events multiple times a week, and we've got one lady in the group. A lot of people like water. I do too, but we've got one lady in the group. She drinks quite a bit of water, and we were at a trivia event in Salisbury, and she had ordered 2 pitchers of water in water glasses for everyone at the table. And I went to the bathroom and came back. The waiter had put the mugs of water, or the pitchers of water, on the table, and everyone had a glass. I had came back from the bathroom, and she had left to go to the bathroom. Well, there was a straw stuck in the top of the water pitcher. And I grabbed the straw and threw it on the table. I said, "Who put a straw in the water pitcher?" The water pitcher is designed for sharing, not for consuming your liquid out of, your beverage. She came back to the table and hollered out, "Who took the straw out of my mug?" I said, "Excuse me, that mug is for sharing. It's not for yourself." She said, "Oh, but you're so wrong. I ordered it for myself." She has an unquenchable thirst. We've got a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket, with 2 gallons of content for an unquenchable thirst. I plan on we're going to have a Christmas party. I'm going to bring this to the Christmas party, and I'm going to hand it to the bartender and have him put it behind the counter. Pay him a little extra tip for me, have him fill it up with water and ice. When she comes to the bar and requests her water for the evening, he's going to serve her this bucket. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get footage of that. Hopefully I can, and I can add it to this video. So you all stay tuned for a later video and how I prank this member of our group. If not, you're just going to get this video presentation, because I do have to ask permission before I put anybody on film and put it on YouTube. I don't want to get demonetized.
Hey, I'm really thirsty. Can I get some more water, please?
Yeah, you want a picture?
Can I get a picture, please? Thank you.
But basically, the breakdown of this thing is pretty simple. I've got roughly about $15 involved into each, $15 to $20 into each bucket. The buckets roughly cost right around $3, $4 at Lowe's. Small buckets around $3. The PEX line, you're probably going to have more in the PEX. I had this laying on my pipe rack. I had a leftover piece. This is sold in 10-foot lengths, and it comes straight. So I didn't have to buy this. Your bucket leads, these are about $2.50. These are about $3. You are going to have some miscellaneous scrap wood I had laying around, so I didn't have to buy that. But when I originally constructed this thing, I started to do it out of 2x8s for the grid form that was in the bottom. And I'm going to show you that right now. This is the grid form that I did out of 2x8s, ripped them down on the table saw. You're going to get slideshow pictures that I'm going to add to the video so that you all get an understanding of how I rate this project an intermediate project for intermediate woodworkers. Not really beginner woodworkers. You can attempt to try it, but there's going to be some knowledge that you need to know with the table saw, a router, you know, basic hand tools, drill. But this thing comes apart in 2 pieces, and it's fitted together. It's fitted together real tight. So you have 2 parts to this, and they're basically half lap, equal measurements from this point to this point on both of them. Now on a bucket, if you're using the Lowe's bucket, I can vouch for this bucket. I know that the degree of the bucket is 3 degrees off from 90, and that's on both sides. Pulled my inside measurements from the inside base of the bucket going across the base, and you're at 10 1/8 inch. 10 1/8. The top of the bucket to the top of this grid is 11 3/16, and the overall, which sits down lower, so this smaller 2-gallon bucket sits up proud from the top, is 12 3/4 inches. Basically, this thing is made out of 1x material, which is 3/4 inch stock. It's half lapped. I've got pocket screws on the inside. You can see here that lock these 2 pieces together. None of this was glued. These strips are in relation to the bottom width of the bucket, which you can see. Give you a measurement so you got an idea of what this bucket is. Bottom of this bucket on the outside is 8 5/16 of an inch. Everything you're going to be doing is going to be the outside diameter of this, the inside diameter of the 5-gallon bucket. So the rundown on these strips, they're half lapped. You could actually run that strip all the way down, but this frame is cut. This frame grid form is cut short so that these strips can be screwed in to the very ends. Now, the holes that you see here, I'm going to drop a picture in the video so you can see, but these are for the through bolts for the handles, the mug handles on the right side and the left side. But this is notched out, so when you put your bolt through your handle and you slide your bucket in, it doesn't impede on the bucket sliding down into this groove. As you can see how it fits in, and everything fits really snug. So one thing I will mention, if you're deciding to do something of this nature, make sure that you label inside of your bucket when you're doing your hole layout for top and bottom, right and left side. I did 2 buckets for 2 mugs. Make sure you label them A side, B side. Label your parts top and bottom so that you don't get them spun around backwards and causing difficulty on the final install of how everything is going together. You're basically going to have to drill through holes through the bucket. Now, as a reference on this, you see this writing on the bucket is on the face of the bucket. This is on the back of the bucket, which, doing it right, fits this whole comical video. Well, if you look at the bucket in the configuration, let's see if I can get you to see that in the camera. You can see like X grid going around. all the way around until you come up to where the bucket handle was that you took out. All right, that is a square notch hole. You revolve it around, keep going until you get to the other side. So you're going to have two where the bucket handle was removed. There are square holes. Hopefully you can see that in the video. Now me pointing that out is because the handles that I made are going to lock into that. These are both of the handles that I made for the bucket. They are still a little tacky. They're routered. This is the top of the handle, which goes in the notch of the bucket. And this part sits flat on the bucket. So basically it fits right in that groove just like that on both sides. So I'm going to show you how to assemble this thing if you're deciding to build this for yourself. A lot of the footage of me actually making the framework was cut out. I don't have video storage to be able to show you all that in detail. I would love to. Like I said, this whole project, I've got like 16 hours in designing, fabricating, painting, putting it all together. Not counting the video that you're seeing right now. So, build your frame, and where I've painted the frame, I can't see the writing on it, so I got to make sure that my holes line up on both sides of the bucket. All right, we got it lined up. There's only one way to put these handles in, right side, left side, so I got to make sure they're lined up too. Now the bolts that you're going to use are 1/4 inch carriage bolts. They have a round head, and they've got a square grip at the bottom. Then that is actually what holds it into the wood. The handle holes, these are 1/4 inch by 6 for the lower holes in the bucket. You need 2 of those, and you need 2 upper bolts for the upper part of the mug handle, and they're 4.5 inches long and 1/4 inch diameter. You're gonna need 4 flats, 4 nuts. The long bolt goes in the bottom. Find your groove in the bottom of the bucket. Slide that in. That'll stay in there. Now you have the bottom bolts in. Now you're going to insert the top bolts. Now you're going to take a 7/16 stubby ratchet wrench. This is a flex head. And the reason why is it's confined space in here, trying to get all this down in the bottom and to actually put it together. You're looking in the bottom, the little weep holes that I had for in the grid framing are where you're going to put the washer over in the nut. Now I had to shave a little bit off the end of that bolt, because you definitely want to make sure you got clearance. You want to make sure you got clearance as you slide that 2-gallon bucket in here, that it doesn't scar the bucket up and cut it. But these handles were made out of soft pine, so you want to make sure when you tighten these up, you don't tighten them too tight and crack the finish that I've got on the outside. This finish is basically a spray primer, flat black, and then a satin colored black on top of it. Pull the carriage bolts in until you see them starting to dimple, but they're not splitting the wood on the top and the bottom. The next step, after you get your handle removed, take your bucket, slide your bucket down in there. If you got the proper height, this is going to stand proud, and what that will do is allow this lip to sit tight on top of the 45 lip that's incorporated into the bucket. It's going to make a more appealing product when you're done. So the way I cut this out, from a standard lid, standard bucket lid that you can buy from Lowe's, use a Malco circle cutter. If you all are in HVAC industry, you'll know exactly what this is. You can cut round holes in flat sheet metal and also radius sheet metal in ductwork. I bought one of these when I was working for an HVAC contractor, and I've kept it. Of course, I paid for it, but I kept it, and thinking that I may use it in the future, and it came up real handy in this project. But it's a Malco HC2, and this thing will do, as far as radiuses, it'll go down to, I believe, 1.5 inch circle, all the way up to 20 inch in diameter, which is fairly large. This thing is roughly 50 to 60 bucks, I believe, when I bought it. But I'm going to put a picture of the process in the video right here. Basically, you chuck it in your drill. You drill you a center point with the center drill bit, and this has got pilot bearings on the inside. After you get your hole drilled, you pull it out, and you pop this into the slug, the cutout slug, in the center of the lid. So you drill your hole through like that, and you push your push pin through there, and it has kind of a detent, as you can see. Push your push pin through there, chuck this into your drill, and then take, as your drill is going around, put this on a piece of wood, hold it down, and spin this around, and you'll get your perfect cutout, as you see right here. This is fairly uniform. Now, where plastic is pliable, you want to make sure that you got this secured as you're doing a revolve and using the circle cutter, because what I noticed was this was flexing in and out, and that will actually change your perfectly round hole to an oblong hole. So make sure you secure this before you do your circle. So we've got our circle cut with the Malco attachment. Take it, basically snap your lid over your rim of the bucket, the 2-gallon bucket. We're going to drop our straw in the bucket, push it down. Now these are tight right from the get-go. You keep snapping this and unsnapping it, it's going to get loose and you're going to be able to break it in. But basically you can see the cutout and how it looks. It's fairly clean. It's a clean installation. And then you can buy yourself the lid, which this one, after you get your handles inserted and the nuts tightened up on the inside on the 1/4 inch long carriage bolts, got the bucket inserted, lid snapped on, where you took the 5-gallon bucket handle out, you're going to see this hole. And that hole is on both sides, which it's kind of unsightly. Hopefully you're using a new bucket. If not, the hole may be a little stretched where you were lifting on the bucket. But I want to decorate these and make them look a little bit better. to dress this project up. So I've stabbed 4 truss head screws, which these are 3/4 inches long, and they have a wide head on them. These can be bought at Lowe's Home Improvement stores in the hardware section. They sell them in a pack of almost like a pound. They're fairly expensive. You only need 4. You may be able to use a pan head screw, but I want to be able to cover that large hole. As you can see, that does it. I've stabbed them into a sheet of foam, and I've sprayed them. So we're going to go ahead and pre-drill. We're going to install these screws. What we're using to install these screws is a 1/8 inch drill bit. We're going to pre-drill it, not to go too far, because we're only looking at about 5/8 of an inch thick of material that goes under that bucket lid. So I'm going to pre-drill center 1/8 inch, and then we're going to insert these screws after I trim them off. These are 3/4. We only need them 5/8 long. They don't sell 5/8 screws in a truss head form. Got my Knipex bolt cutters. These things are really handy. I'm going to judge 5/8 of an inch, and I'm going to cut off the end. And we're going to insert this with a hand screwdriver so I don't mess up the black paint. These screws don't have to be real tight. Basically, they're filling in the hole to kind of give it a dressed up look. There it is. A little bit dressed up versus looking at those ugly holes that you've seen on both sides. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the two-handed mug that will get a laugh at your next party. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all thought the video was helpful and informative, and I'd like to see you back at the channel. If you like the video, give me 2 thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel for future videos on things that I do and comical cut-ups like this. Christmas is coming up. I want to wish you all a wonderful and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Till the next time, stay safe, God bless, and I'll catch y'all later.